Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Industrial Faith. Welcome to Season 2 of Factorio 4X, your 15-minute Factorio fix. This is Episode 1 of a new series. Now, on the heels of the last series, where I kind of went with a smaller factory and didn't go with the big giant factory build, what we're going to do with this one is we're going to try and go solar as soon as possible. And I mean, we're just going to gun right for solar. However, we're also going to do that by building very small science, and I mean itty-bitty. I think at one point we actually get up to 3 whole science labs, and that's kind of the point, because the entirety of the series can actually really be called a small footprint, making your footprint small. So that's what we're trying to do, is we're trying to have a small footprint. So you're going to see some really weird stuff. I've already recorded 6 hours. This is the first commentary I'm setting up. And I built some really weird stuff. And and people might think it's weird. And I'm exploring because I want to make sure I'm not on an island again. And I'm like, okay, well, there's some biters. And looks like I'm not on an island. So, whew. Now, I still am using the other mods. Long reach, landfill, not infinite resources, or whatever that is. Big giant clump of resources. But yeah, so I'm only going to set up, this is pretty much what I'm going to set up and try and start building things. So I'm just kind of, one of the things I'm doing is I'm also kind of looking around and trying to see where I want to build stuff. Spoiler alert, I do a terrible job with the bus. I'm going to have to rebuild the bus at some point. It's, right now in hour 6 looking at the bus, I'm just like, oh, this is a disaster. But right now it's fresh and clean and so full of hope. And so I'm looking at setting up my power, and the whole point for this power is just to try and put together science and get it building. Because the first thing I want is gun turrets right away. Gun turrets. I've been killed by biters more than once at the beginning, and admittedly that's not killed, I should say, but have a serious setback when you're half hour in and you've got your coal running and you're off building something, and all of a sudden you get that alert, and there's biters eating stuff in your base, and your only thought is, oh god. And you get there and they've eaten all your iron production, and that's the thing, if they eat your what do you call it? Your smelter, your little burner there, your metal baker, your smelter. If they eat that, everything that's in there is lost. It doesn't drop to the ground. There's no salvage. There's no getting it out. It's gone. Which is horrible. There you go, the furnace. Thank you. Oh, man. He had no idea what he's talking about. So here I'm trying to plan things out. Go ahead, and I'm going to build... you might as well, I mean, I notice a lot of people will just build like a burner and a steam engine, and they'll manually insert stuff, and I'm like, let's just start getting ready. Let's build the first one right. And even though I'm all, biddable footprint. At the same time, I'm trying to make it so I never have to build anything but. What I would like is I would like to not have to build any more electrical power than one initial setup like this. So I should have all the coal I need. And I'm trying to make sure, again, the pollution is small. So what I'm doing is I'm actually moving my iron, and I'm increasing it because there's a big body of water to my west. So that means I can actually worry about more pollution. And if by moving that, I actually take away a lot of pollution from the biter base up to the northeast. And that's going to help a lot. So, and this is just, the first torturous beginning. So here we go. So now it's going to run by itself. And I didn't use a burner inserter because I've just decided they're silly. You can't upgrade a burner inserter into anything. So as part of our, so here I'm trying to figure out how to turn off the single player notification. There you go. And that's one of the things that I always complained about, is I think that should be on by default. But I can totally understand why they do it, because a lot of people, if you're doing research, you'll forget. Now, admittedly, in this game, I don't think forgetting to do research is that big a deal, because it actually helps. If you're not doing research, you're building up. Now, at the beginning like this, no, there's no bloody point. You're not actually. This is when you need research the most. And if you forget your research here, you're going to have problems. Again, I'm just trying to get turrets so I know there's a biter base up there. There's actually one to the south that I haven't discovered. Kind of southeast. Now, I'm really liking the picturesque look of this layout. And I don't mean my belts or anything like that. I mean where I am. So the pollution's right there. That's the most pollution. The biters are probably going to come through there. And so I'm kind of looking around here. What's down here? Ooh. Anything good? And I'm just trying to see. I'm trying to see where I have to set up my defenses. I think I figured out the superior way to defend a base, and I'm going to have to do a video about it and kind of break down my conclusions, but we'll see if that's the case. So here I'm just trying to, now I could actually set all the, all the science in the science lab. I don't have to put a box for it. Oh, that's right. I'm building in for, oh, I'm so dumb sometimes. That's what I'm doing. I'm building my science. Derpy me. So, and here we go. Now we've got power. Why isn't that working? Who knows? Okay, so I don't need a lot of power. And this simple setup, I've stopped with the, one power pole to rule them all kind of thing. Whatever. I'm just trying to get science rolling. I need logistics so I can start building belts. And again, I'm going to try and build a very small footprint thing here. So now I need to get my stone rolling because I don't have any. I think this is where I build stone. Yeah. I'm actually going to do it that way. And I'm going to set up, because I want to start building walls, so I'm going to build up basically a stone brick manufactorium. And this is going to be real simple. It's really all you need. So I want more coal because I want to make sure that I don't run out. Because I'm going to start pulling coal off the line, and I don't want anything. I don't want to run out of power. Now, running out of power isn't that big of a danger. Now, people call it a death spiral. It's only a death spiral if your defenses rely on power, such as if you're using laser weapons. Now, laser weapons are the superior defensive method, so far as I'm aware. But if you rely on them and you lose your power, you're dead. And that's I think where the death spiral comes from. Here I just use. I'm 6 hours into my playthrough. Now I know there's people who've beaten the game into. I think the world record is like 2 hours and 34 minutes, and obviously about 2 hours and 35 minutes. That's the world. I don't know if it's a world record, but that's the current speed run, and it's one guy who keeps doing it. And it's bizarre to watch him work because it's very much he builds these. He just builds a lot. So anyway, so I'm making walls because I need them. Now, stone walls are quick enough to make in your inventory that you could actually go ahead and just. I could have built a stone brick manufactorium, or manufactorium. I have that word in my head. I've been watching some. I've been thinking about 40K lately. Anyways, so all I'm going to do, if I recall, all I'm going to do is I'm thinking about putting a little wall up on that isthmus, or the little connection line between the. There's a lot of little neat connections in here. I like this generated map. It's very pretty. So again, pocket crafting everything right now. So I'm building a wall. Now the purpose of this wall is, I'll discuss it later, I guess. The design philosophy for defenses. My design philosophy for defenses, anyways. And I'll have to figure out whether I'm utilizing the what do you call it? The tenets of Aikido or Judo, or just good plumbing. I'm not sure yet. So there I'm trying to make sure I have enough coal. Now, that stone furnace where I'm making the stone walls, that thing's gonna run forever. So I'm kind of wondering if I need to move that tree. I don't know. So, and in a situation like this, you kind of just have to what's the best word for it? Just kind of wait sometimes. Because it's low profile, low footprint. There again, I'm going to run a radar down here to see how far the coast actually goes. Because I kind of want to see, and here's the thing. The game manufacturers have said, or I should say the designers of the game have said that radar stations are targets for aliens. Well, if you look at the map, it's because they technically produce pollution. And so if you look at, when I put that on the map, there was a pollution bloom, so to speak, right there. There's nothing there producing anything except the one radar. So radar produces pollution, and I think that's kind of a clever little game mechanic to get the pollution, to get it working. So I think that was a good idea. I mean, it certainly shows it's a clever workaround, if you will. So again, just waiting, and the beginning is always a little ho-hum melodramatic. So here I'm starting to set up smelting. Again, obviously. So I want to... I don't want to have the issue I had with the last playthrough where I had ridiculous difficulties with... yeah, I didn't leave any room for the inserters. Well done. I don't want to have any issues with not having enough production. And I figured out how this thing works. I shouldn't say I figured out. I scoured somebody's videos to figure out exactly what I was doing wrong, and this setup is really elegant right here. That's just bang. Look how simple and easy that is. So, but I can save room and I can put, so I don't need to. Do I? I just figured, meh, we'll leave it. So, okay, and now I'm going to, I've got plenty of iron, so that's all very straight. Should have plenty of iron necessary to build this. So what I'm doing is, if you notice, I stick that on the very edge, and that's because, again, these things can build, you only need to have a part of the mine over one block to get everything rolling. That's all you need. So, and here and now I have, iron, easy and quick. Here I'm gonna start the bus. This is the first bus, and like I said, I didn't think long term for the bus. It kind of makes me cranky that I didn't. But that's what I did. So I'll have to rebuild the bus. Hopefully after I get science far enough. Again, I may literally tear everything down except power production and start over from scratch. Then again, you can also just finish science and do it. I built the most laborious, tortured blue science method ever. It's almost funny the way I built it. And like the last one, I had this really, really, really long blue science chain. And this time the science chain is the blue science production. The output is very small, but to get all the parts to the blue science production is very tiny. So here I'm starting to build myself some belts, and taking those first few tentative footsteps, because again, need belts. Must have the belts. So there's that, and these things are so easy to build, it's not even funny. There we go, bang, done. Over and under belts, this is just a very narrow build. We're done, easy, no fuss, no muss. And now I'm building belts. And again, you only need you need a wooden box. That is so simple. And I'm gonna have belts for days. Now I don't go through and build a what do you call it? I don't do splitters yet, but that's kind of something I need to work on. I do a lot of pocket crafting, mostly because that lake there to the south kind of bugs me, but I haven't done anything there, so. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, looks like we're wrapping this up. I thank you for joining me for the first episode of Season 2 of Factorio 4X, your 15-minute Factorio fix. And we're going to rebuild this thing, obviously, and go from there. But I look forward to seeing you in the next episode. You have a good night, and bye-bye.